Alrighty guys, so today we're breaking down Magomed Mustafaev versus Brad Riddell. So yeah, for Magomed, not a lot of tape on. Well, there is a bit of tape on him, but there not recently. Like, you don't really know how he's improved, or where he's working on in his game, because he doesn't do many interviews, and the interviews that he does, that they're in Russian, so he's only fought 1.5 minutes in the last 3 years in the UFC, so you just don't really know what you're up against here, and that's big for Brad because he is a tactician. He watches tape, studies it, tries to find holes in people's games. You saw that in the Volkanovski fight versus Max Holloway, where Brad Riddell instructed Volkanovski to attack the legs from the start. And that was a very smart game plan, and that's pretty much what won him the fight. Opened up the hands, damage to Holloway's movement, and that was a really astute observation by Brad Riddell. So he's a tactician. He's a very smart guy, very smart striker. So we'll see how he does in solving the Magomed puzzle, because he is a little bit of a puzzle, but to be honest, I think not that hard to solve. So he's very only throws singular punches. He's good in both stances. He could switch from southpaw to orthodox, no problem. Strike in either stance, same combinations, no problem. He'll probably want to switch it up to southpaw for this one. I think Brad's an orthodox, so he'll want to switch it up to southpaw so it opens up the body kick, which is one of his favorite strikes. And he sits down in his punches. He kind of only throws singular strikes, doesn't really throw combinations. There's a lot of wind up in his punches, kind of wings his overhands out from the hips. So this is something a seasoned striker like Brad has seen quite a bit and has quite a bit of experience in, fighting all over the world. Another thing Magomed does is he'll step to his right to lead his opponent in that direction, and then kind of like plant his front foot and throw that spinning back kick to the face that we saw him drop. What's his name? Rafael Atayev? Something like that. But his last opponent, a seasoned kickboxer like Brad, you saw him, step to the right, little subtle movement, plant his front foot, spin, connect, and you saw him do that twice. He's got a very good spinning back kick. Has a lot of power in it. But with that power, he's a fast twitch athlete for sure. But with that power and that speed and that explosivity that he uses, can definitely drain the gas tank. Yeah, another thing he does, he throws the 3-2s, the 2-3s. Saw that in the Proctor fight, I believe. I taped this fight a while ago, guys. Just going off memory here. I think the Joe Proctor fight, you saw him just extend and just cover a lot of ground with the 2-3s, just connecting on Proctor where he didn't think he was in danger. You saw that in the Kevin Lee fight as well. And I just realized I wasn't on the fight page. So yeah, let me get that up real quick. Fuck, Brad looks out of it in that photo. 0-0 record. That's always nice. Oh, Mustafaev must have missed weight last time. So yeah, pretty much identical. Pretty small lightweights. They're lightweights, right? Yeah, lightweights. Pretty short lightweights, but very compact guys. Both packing a lot of muscle. I'd say both are very quick, very very fast twitch. So yeah, they really need to get Brad's stats up there. Okay, So yeah, so Brad, he's pretty fluid with his boxing combinations. He's a seasoned kickboxer, as I've said countless times already in this podcast or video. He's got fluid boxing combinations, and what I mean by that is that he adapts his combinations to where his opponent's head is going. So say if his opponent, he knows he hits him with the 2, the opponent ducks instead of slipping or rolling. So if the opponent ducks, then he'll counter with like a lead uppercut or something. That's what I mean by fluid. Like it's spontaneous. His punches are spontaneous, combination spontaneous, which is good. You see that in a lot of heavy, strikers that have good and lots of experience. They just and they both have decent grappling, but I don't think that's going to play a factor in this fight, to be honest. I think it's going to be on the feet, and they're going to bang it out. So Magomed Mustafaev, talked about it. Fast twitch. He's got fast spins really quickly, just due to his fast twitch nature. Also means he gasses out early. So that Kevin Lee fight looked really tired, started breathing really heavy, was getting dominated in the grappling positions. He also has pretty average takedown defense, if I'm going to be honest. It's you can tell he's very offensive minded and just wants to strike. Just pretty average takedown defense. And and that plays in. That's also because he overextends on his right hands or power punches. He overextends. The wind up is very large on his punches, very pronounced, and it just offers opponents that doorway to the reactive double leg. So a lot of opponents have taken that, and that's a path to victory for beating Mustafaev. And for Brad Riddell, there's not a lot of tape on him at the moment. What's he like? His record's actually like 7-1, I think. The UFC have got it 0-0, but I think it's like 7-1 or 6-1 or something. He's very green, in MMA, but it was hard to find tape with on him before the UFC. But from what I gathered, he has pretty good distance control. Watched a few of his kickboxing fights as well. Good distance control. He's got pretty strong hips on the sprawl. Saw that in the Malarkey fight. He's got a decent sprawl. Keeps his hands low in the pocket though. Saw him get clipped in the Malarkey fight by a left hook, I believe, from Malarkey, and Malarkey is nowhere near the level of striker that Magomed Mustafaev is. So that was and Magomed, he'll trade in the pocket. He'll trade in the pocket all day. So that was concerning to see. But for Brad, it's a hometown fight. He's in a good camp at the moment. Probably one of the best coaches in the league. In the sport at the moment, in Eugene Behrman. A guy doesn't want to take the media. He just wants to stay in the gym, focus on his fighters. He's very honest in interviews that he really does. That he talks about how his fighters, they aren't performing to the level that he wants them to be, and he said that in a recent interview, which is food for thought. So Magomed, he's never gone to decision, which is pretty incredible considering his record, 15 fights, never gone to a decision. So you think this one will end within the distance, Magomed never gone to decision, of course, and then Brad, he's pretty aggressive. Like he looks for the kill. He tried to finish Malarkey, he definitely did, but Malarkey was just very, very tough and very just young and just willing to take damage. Also, he's never been in a third round, which is pretty impressive for Mustafaev. So, that'll be interesting to see if it goes into deep waters. If Brad can drag him out there, that'll be interesting to look at. Pass to victory for Brad. Magomed's probably going to be throwing that body kick if he comes out in the southpaw stance. So look to catch that and throw a hard 2 back, which I've seen him do in multiple fights. Yeah, probably look to counter strike, definitely. Which is what Alex Morono should have done against Chaos Williams. You saw he just went in there looking to be offensive off the bat, looking, not to brawl, but to just get the first punch. But for this one, I'd probably advise him to just counter strike. Magomed does wind his punches a lot, telegraph his punches. So just look for openings, get reads early, because he's going to be expending a lot of energy early. So just get reads early, and take it to him late. Also, throwing combinations will be a difference maker. If Magomed's just on single strikes and he's getting a few oohs and ahs, but if you're throwing combinations and you double up or triple up on the strike count, I think it'll be smart game plan. Don't be afraid to take him down. Just take him down, get a little bit of top control. If he overextends on his right hands or his left hands when he's throwing those power punches, don't be afraid to just take him down, just top control, don't do anything crazy. Hard leg kicks when he's lowering his stance, because Magomed, sits down in his punches. So if you can get him in that window before he throws his punch or after he throws his punch, when he's lowered his stance to produce power, throw a hard leg kick. So Brad's probably going to kick your leg. This is advice from Mustafaev. Brad's probably going to kick your leg, so just raise your leg to anticipate it. Try and check as many as you can. Just let him know that you're not just going to accept the leg kick throughout the duration of the fight. Or just raise it at the end of a combination. So Brad's coming in with a 1-2. Just raise your leg in anticipation of the leg kick, because he usually finishes a combination with a leg kick. Also, just mix in your wrestling, mix in your sambo background with your striking, just to make Brad think about it, just to make him, not just think about the strikes coming his way. So how I see it going, I think it's going to be a really explosive fight that someone's probably going to get knocked out in. Could be cold, to be honest. I can just see them exchanging hooks in the pocket, someone getting their hook, then flush, and someone just dropping, like the Dan Hardy and Carlos Condit fight. Mustafaev's striking is probably, I'd say, much more limited than Brad's, but it is more devastating / intimidating. So Brad has to come he has to come forward. He can't be scared, he can't be hesitant, which is how Magomed wins a lot of his fights. His opponents, he just intimidates his opponents, and they're backing up. They're scared of the strikes. They're scared of the power. They're scared of the spinning kicks. But yeah, you just gotta walk through it. Make some reads. Make the reads in the first round. Don't give Magomed any respect. You gotta, just cop the spinning back kicks to the body. Just keep walking forward. Press forward. Yeah, and get your reads. Yeah, the kicks may be a problem for Brad, but I feel like he's gonna get the reads, and yeah, I think he's gonna be able to work out Mustafaev by the second round, probably late second round, latest, and probably dominate the fight from there. Start landing his combinations, start getting those leg kicks on. I think he'll be out of there. His striking defense will be improved. So yeah, overall, I picked Brad Riddell by a third round TKO. I think he just wears him out, and Mustafaev gets tired. So right now, the line, I'd say it's at least 55 to 45%. I think Brad's going to win. So I think that line's value, to be honest, that $2.30, that $2.30 range. I got in at $4.25 on Parry Match, because it's a Russian betting site.